FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome, and you are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is 8/11/20. Well, an interesting article just came out in Politico, and it's about a guest. You've heard him on the show many, many times. He's author of his latest book, prolific writer, Blitz, Trump Will Smash the Left and Win. David Horowitz is with us now, and if you got any questions or comments for David, please email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. So, David, hit piece in the Politico by Jean Guerrero entitled "The Man Who Made Stephen Miller," and basically attributing all of Miller's success, all of his prominence in public life to you. You're one of those hidden kingmakers.
I met him when he was a young man, and he was already quite brilliant. And in some ways, I mean, he was something of a protege for a bit. And I did recommend him for the job he got with Jeff Sessions, which led to his White House position. But the reason that they want to lump us, I mean, the title of her book, this is a trash article. This is a disgustingly low level of so-called journalism. The title of her book is Hatemonger. You want a hatemonger, try Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, well, you can go down the list.
Is not and they've tarred and feathered me for speaking frankly about issues, and particularly we're living in very benighted, difficult times where we're in the midst of the biggest racial hoax in the history of the country, stemming from the death of George Floyd. The American Spectator just had an article by a prosecutor who specializes in police brutality cases, pointing out that the toxicology report showed that George Floyd had 4 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his body. It kills you.
And he had
methamphetamine. It suppresses breathing.
And methamphetamine, right?
And methamphetamine, yes, and heart.
And COVID-19.
Huge heart, and COVID-19.
Don't forget COVID.
And the Daily Mail, a British paper, released the body cams from the arresting officers that Keith Ellison, a Farrakhan-loving, Antifa-supporting Attorney General of Minnesota, had suppressed, which showed the cops were, first of all, he was arrested by African-American cops, so how is race an issue at all? But they were incredibly solicitous. He said 7 times, standing, sitting,
I can't breathe. Yeah,
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
They called an ambulance for him. He was completely out of control because he was so high on drugs. And they tried to control him. There was nothing hostile in their actions, and certainly nothing racial. It's all this wreckage, the billions and billions of dollars, the people killed in all these riots is over nothing. George Floyd killed himself.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds weird, but that's the reality.
Yeah, the fact is.
I have to tell you, all these other cases are pretty fake as well.
Well,
Breonna Taylor wasn't murdered.
They were shooting at the cops when they
shot a cop.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Well, I was suspicious about it all along. The autopsy, specifically, they called it a homicide, but he didn't die of obstruction to breathing or anything like that. That's
another thing this guy shows. You can't kill a person with the knee on one side of the neck. You have to get him in a chokehold and get both sides of the neck, or snap his trachea, his jugular.
Yeah, you got to do like what they did to Jeffrey Epstein if you really want to kill someone. You can't just I felt from the beginning, although I was shouted down by everyone, that there's more to this story. The cops did not execute this guy in public. But what's amazing, David, is the power of those images was so great that it made everyone's emotions.
And it's everybody's eagerness.
Their emotions.
To stroke the black community. Ignore the fact that 53% of the violent crimes in this country are committed by blacks. Of course, they're mainly committed against other blacks, who are the ones who are going to suffer from all of this left-wing hysteria.
Yeah, now that they have food deserts, right? Their neighborhoods have turned into food deserts because they burned out all of the supermarkets, all the Targets, everything else.
But the people leading these riots, they've got hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, they're living high off the hog, the leaders of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and, you know,
Soros gave them $220 million. All these athletes are pouring money. All these Hollywood idiots are pouring money into their pockets. So that's the injustice. But, I brought this up because that's why they're going to call me a hate monger, and that's why they want me to be have made Stephen Miller so they can tar and feather him the way they do the president.
I totally understand where you're coming from.
The Democrat Party is my book, Blitz, shows how the Democrat Party is a racist party. Its opening is about Trump's war with Elijah Cummings. He's the only Republican that I know who ever called the Democrat a racist, even though they control all the inner cities of size in America.
Hey, you know what I say, David? You show me a failing city that's in America, and I'll show you a city that's had Democratic rule for generations.
Exactly. And these mayors, they should be put in jail. You couldn't have these riots. The riot in Chicago last night or in Portland.
They're complicit.
Without these treasonous mayors who betrayed their constituents. And if there isn't a law that allows you to put mayors who are derelict in this way in protecting their citizens in jail, there needs to be one. Where are the Republicans?
They're nowhere to be found. Where they always are, nowhere. They're the party is stupid, and they want to be a permanent minority party.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near two producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold two companies in the past 7 years. Osino has a tight share structure, and with its current treasury, it can self-fund the advancement of its gold discovery into at least 2022. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
And cowardice,
Totally.
and cowardly. But everybody's got to go out there and vote Republican at every level and stop these communists, the Democrat Party.
And you know it firsthand, as you always say, you were a red diaper baby. You grew up in this mindset.
I know a communist when I see one.
Yeah. So they can't fool you when it comes to this nonsense. And you know darn well here, David, this was all orchestrated. If it hadn't have been George Floyd, it would have been something else.
They've done
this was
it. They
primed.
did it with Michael Brown. They've been
you mean the gentle giant? The gentle giant, right? He was a gentle, strong-arm robber. Yeah, he was a thug. And what about we go to Trayvon Martin?
Rodney King. Nobody mentions this.
Oh, yeah, Rodney King.
Well, I think Trayvon Martin, I think that Zimmerman should have got manslaughter for stalking him. He's not a cop.
He wasn't a cop, but, in Florida, we got this stand your ground thing, and
I know,
and usually
but he was
it works
not supposed to get out of his truck. Anyway, I don't want to argue it, but I
know what you're saying.
Just my position is.
But he also wasn't... he was half Hispanic, and they made him out to be white. They just neglected all this stuff.
Well, that's the point. The left is fighting these delusional battles about white supremacy.
Right. About the book that came out that showed that the state prosecuted Zimmerman with false witnesses that they knew. They had this woman who said she was Trayvon's girlfriend, and she really wasn't, because Trayvon's girlfriend wasn't up to the task of lying.
I thought Joel should not have written that book, but anyway, it's irrelevant.
I know. Truth doesn't matter, right?
His watch, as a neighborhood watch, he's not supposed to go and try to arrest somebody.
He's not an officer.
He's supposed to call it in and have a cop do it.
Yeah, of course,
and
we know that.
If he had followed, so I think he's guilty of manslaughter.
Well, it's maybe negligent homicide, but in any event, the state so botched that case and bringing up false witnesses and all of this.
Well, you can't talk rationally about race in this country.
Yeah,
there is no systemic racism. White supremacy is a joke.
Yeah,
but it's a sick black joke. No, excuse me, can't use words like that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I never get over the fact that blacks used to be called Negroes, but it was Malcolm X who insisted they be called blacks. Now you can't use words like blacklist.
Well, I thought you weren't allowed to call them. I thought you couldn't call them blacks now either. Wasn't that against it?
Yeah, well, that was Jesse Jackson saying they're African Americans.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of West Indians.
There are actually people like Obama who came from Africa and are Americans. So Obama is the ultimate African American, right?
I guess. Anyway, the left is very good at manipulating language and creating false facts.
But it's gobbledygook. If you really look at what they do, it's just gobbledygook. It doesn't really, it means nothing what they say. They're totally linguistic, and it just has no meaning. Well, anyway, if you haven't
by the way, let me talk about Blitz for a second. It's been 6 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, but of course it's not being reviewed. I don't even get 2 seconds on Fox. I suspect it's because they promote their own authors. Mm-hmm. But it's being sabotaged at Amazon, which claims that it ships in 2 months when they have 30,000 copies in their warehouses. But you can get it at Walmart or Sam's Club or Target or Barnes & Noble or anywhere else.
Yeah, wherever fine books used to be sold, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. All right, David. Well, we appreciate it. The book, Blitz, Trump Will Smash the Left and Win, From Your Mouth to God's Ears. And David Horowitz, you find him at frontpagemag.com. We always appreciate your coming on, David. Great luck with the book. Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon. Be well.
Okay, Kerry, thanks for having me.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.